Hello YouTube. Now, I don't like this movie. I'm not personally fond of it. But that's not to say it's a bad movie. The reason why I don't like it is because it strays from the original material. Now, if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the description to the audiobook and to the movie. Just so then you guys can check it out for yourselves. It's definitely worth it, both of them, because this movie is good. But if you've read the book and seen the movie, then you know how different they are. Or at least in storytelling. And speaking of storytelling, let's go on to the story. Okay, so just a fair warning, lots of spoilers might be in this, because I really cannot talk about this movie and the book. That'll be way too hard for me not to do. So, pretty much there will be spoilers. Go check the link in the description below to check out the movie, because the movie is actually a pretty good retelling. But, okay, so, seen the book, or if you've seen the movie, or you've read the book, you may proceed. Now, the story basically is that Jean, who I forgot the last name of, I think it's Foster, goes to this school called Devon, which I assume is an all-boys school, because I never see any girls there, but they never really say. I'll just assume it is. And so pretty much what they do is he just meets a boy named Phineas and some of his friends, and they just pretty much hang out. That's kind of most of the story in a nutshell, but there's way more to it. And here's the part where spoilers come. Jean breaks Phineas's leg. If you guys aren't angry that I spoiled this, then you guys probably just don't care about this movie. So, pretty much he just breaks his leg in this, but that's pretty much where most of the conflict comes from, so that's pretty much where the story sum up ends, because that's really it. That's really all that the story is. And it's like, it's a coming of age movie, I suppose you could say, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how short this sum up is. But it's executed very well. I'm not gonna say that this movie was great or anything, because it most certainly isn't. Because it's not that great compared to the book, at least, but it's not executed bad. Actually, it's executed pretty fairly. The characters are given time to show and bloom. Heck, there's even the pool scene, which I was shocked at because it was so identical. I mean, really, this pool scene, they are identical. They are pretty much like that. They only missed two things, which is one sentence. Yeah, one sentence from the book. And the fact that it wasn't a clock, it was a stopwatch. That is all that they missed. That is amazing. I have never seen another retelling do that. But then, sadly, there are other scenes that are not like that. Like the falling out of the tree scene. Well, actually, I guess some could argue that the scene itself actually is. But the build-up to it isn't. Why? Because in the book, they actually gave time to explain why he would actually do this to Phineas. Jean basically knocked Phineas out of the tree. Well, sort of shook him out, I guess. And Phineas fell down and shattered his leg. But in the book, they actually explain it through inner monologue how Jean felt betrayed by Phineas and built up all his anger into this one cruel action. But what do they do in the movie? It's just one scene trying to build it up. No inner monologue. Nothing. And I guess in some other movies that could be a good way of doing things, like just showing all the emotion into one character's stare, but it doesn't work here. They don't do it right. They didn't execute it right at that moment. So, people who are watching the movie and haven't read the book would be completely lost as to why he actually made him fall out of the tree. No one who has not read the book yet seen the movie would know why. They know what's going on, but they won't know why. They have like one conversation that might explain it, but even then, it's pretty short. So yeah, I just had to bring up that there are scenes that are executed very poorly. And my favorite moment in the book, that was at the beginning of chapter 8, yeah, that moment had so much atmosphere and so much passion put into it. All they would do was just give out a moment, just like 2 whole minutes of them being in complete silence out after one line was uttered. That's what they would do in the book. Yeah, what are they doing in the movie? It's just an instant response. How the heck did they do that? Why did they do that? But maybe I'm harshing on it a little bit too much. I mean, there are scenes that are very close to being identical. But to me, that's what makes it even worse. And the scenes that are almost identical aren't big scenes. They're not scenes that are completely necessary to the story. So, when they're completely identical like that, it doesn't make any sense later because they made those scenes identical, yet they made other scenes not identical in the least. And those scenes are big, important scenes. So they kind of got confused as to which scenes are important and which scenes aren't. And there are some scenes in this, though, that are decent to the book. Like, they do spend enough time with it to get the idea across, and that's good. They actually do spend time with that. But when they ignore the stuff that is huge in the book and in this movie that should be addressed, and just say, it just what happens, then it doesn't work. Because if you haven't read the book, or haven't listened to the book on audio, then you won't know why they did this. So for the story, I am actually going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because, again, it is not executed bad. They actually did do a decent job with the amount of time that they were given. But it just didn't work right. Some of the pacings were spent on scenes that weren't that important, yet some of the other pacings were spent on scenes that were important, yet were skipped over way too fast. So again, 7 out of 10 on the story. And now we go on to the characters. And just so you know, I do not know how to pronounce one of these characters' names.